Hello, all of you witch enders out there. This is Erico Blueberry. It's an unassuming Destiny podcast. My name is chillybin.
Hello, I'm Meckii.
I have gone for a 12-kilometer run today and then drove around for like an hour picking things up. I am tired. My energy in this intro reflects that. I came up with witch enders and then my brain shut off. Next season, the season of the wish. Then at the end of that season, maybe I'll remember to say wish enders. Thus, the cycle will be complete.
No one tells you about the depression after you complete the prophecy.
Oh my god. That's so real. So, here we are, end of the season of The Witch. We've got, I think, 3.5 days left before we roll it over into a new one. So I feel like this week for us is just like a random grab bag of shit to talk about because like I still haven't played a whole lot this week. I also don't have a lot to finish off. Like I could maybe finish the Harrispex title. That's this season's one, right? Or was that last season?
Oh, the Gut Looker?
Yeah, Gut Looker. But I would need to seriously grind the game, and I don't have time for that over the next few days. Like, I also don't want to. I don't care about it that much anymore, those seasonal titles, ever since I stopped buying the physical item. So I think I'm at like season rank 96, so I might at least finish the season pass. But that'll be about the rest of what I do for this season. I got my Gilded Dredgen. I'm fine.
It's really weird. So I think this is the first time ever in our history of playing together that I've been further along in terms of getting titles, gilding titles, and then also seasonal pass and exoties.
Yeah. It's also kind of that time of year when a bunch of other games I really wanted to play came out, and so I was like, I'll do a little bit of Destiny here and there. I'll get my Gilded Dredgen early enough in the season that I'm not stressing about it. And then I just it was probably a good 3 or 4 week stretch where I wouldn't say I put the game down, but I was definitely playing it very little. Which is it's not a reflection on like the quality of the season or any of the stuff going on with Bungie or whatever lately. It was more just like by the time the seasonal story wrapped up, I didn't have the hook every week to bring me back in. Whereas that would pull me in for at least 2-3 hours a week.
Yeah.
So it's fine. I'm not like sad or angry about any of this. It's just that's how the season has gone for me, and that's okay. I got to play the Talos Principle 2. I got to play a bit more Diablo. I got to play, what else came out during this time? Spider-Man. Played some Spider-Man. That was good. But yeah, it's been dicking around with other stuff.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. Plus, on top of that, in Australia, it is currently kind of the peak of like gig and festival season. When I would normally play is usually when I have a gig or a festival or the day after one. And because I am in my 30s, a single concert will put me out for a couple of days.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because I'm a barricade girly. So I definitely get beat up a bit more.
Yeah. I feel that too with like, what is it? I mean, this season started in September or whatever, and it's like from whenever it started to now, like late November, it's also as the weather is starting to get quite nice and warm, and people want to be outside doing things and going to bars and pubs and sitting out in the sun, having a drink, hanging out. So I've just been also just doing social stuff. With honestly the same group of people I would usually play Destiny with, so it's still pretty good. We still talk about Destiny, but it's just not something I've played a lot of in the last month. But that's fine. That's a good balance, I think.
Being an adult.
Yes, I've got things to do. As much as that annoys me.
Haven't really had any new games. If anything, I've been using this quiet period to go back and play older games.
Mm-hmm.
So I've replayed all of the BioShocks.
Really?
Just the story.
I was going to say, I feel like we were only just talking about this, and there's, what, 4 of those games?
3.
Did 1, 2... No, they
And
didn't.
then
They didn't do a BioShock
like
3.
an expansion-y thing for Infinite.
Right. Yeah. Well, they did expansions for the other, like the first 2 as well, which I also never played. I just did like the main story for all 3 of them.
Yeah. So I got the years ago on Steam. I got the pack where it's all of it. Back when Ken Levine resigned from ID Games or whatever.
Yeah.
And they released like all of his stuff, System Shock and all of that. And I'm not a huge System Shock fan, but BioShock has a very special spot for me. So I was like, you know what? I got a bunch of time off work because it's Christmas period, or alternatively, I'm also technically working on call, but getting paid like I'm working full time.
Right. Yeah.
Because there's just nothing to develop at the end of the year. So I'm basically on call for tech issues.
Yeah.
So I've just been banging out the BioShock storylines, and because I've played them so much, it's like I can get BioShock 1 down to 6 hours because I know where to go. I know what to pick up.
I guess it it's been a long time since I played it. I think I played it when it first came out. Like, I forget how short that game actually is.
8 to 10 hours,
because
yeah.
it's such a like small, contained environment.
And then it's like Destiny, where then I play it and I fall down a rabbit hole, and then also while I'm playing it, I'm watching YouTube videos about the world lore, which then pulls me down because I just found out someone put a whole bunch of the behind the scene dev videos up on YouTube. And then I played some Modern Warfare 3. The new multiplayer is a lot of fun. It's very reminiscent of old Call of Duty games.
And also the last like Modern Warfare remakes that are basically all of that same shit again.
Yeah. The campaign was doo-doo. Basically an expansion. It was not good.
I have heard as much. I also like it's put me back into why I stopped playing Call of Duty in the first place, which is like, stop putting these fucking games out and nothing is changing anymore. Like, we only just had Modern Warfare 2. Why are we doing another one?
Yeah. It was kind of disappointing because these remakes have given story and character and like fleshed out a bunch of the characters from the original. Like Ghost has more meat now, both physically and story-wise. Big man. And you know, they flesh out Price and they flesh out Soap and give them a whole lot more personality and story.
Sure.
But then the new Modern Warfare 3 kind of undid that. It was a very nothing burger campaign where I was like, you work so hard to flesh all these characters out and then gave them nothing to do with this new personality. So it is what it is. I got it for free. It was a gift.
Yeah, I think like
a friend wanted me to play with him, so he was like, have it.
That series for me is like Assassin's Creed, where I really enjoyed the first few that I played, and then I wished they would just fucking stop making them, because you've milked the cow dry. There's nothing left.
Yeah. I used to be obsessed with Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
I might go back and play those, actually. Yeah, like I've got them all.
I mean, the first 2 is all that's worth playing. I tried.
3's good.
Well, I tried to play 3 when it first came out, and like it was buggy and fucked, and I just gave up like 2 hours in.
Once they fixed it, it was a lot more tolerable. 3 is one of my favorites, but it's because it has a lot of the tie-in to do with First Nation Americans and First Nation Canadians and that whole land back movement, and also back then the way they were treated as people, the Ojibwe and Navajo and people like that. So I think I connected with the story a little bit more than a lot of people would have.
Yeah, I just don't think I got like deep enough into it because of those roadblocks I hit with it to like even get to the good stuff. Just like, this game
that's
is
sad.
Physically frustrating me. I can't do this.
Because I was deep into it, like the "Where's Charles Lee" fucking memes, like the fleshless face memes. I was in there.
Yeah. Ah, dear. What else is? What else is going on?
It's been good to replay old games.
Yeah. It's also good to just like play other shit, especially like smaller games that, like, I mean, I say smaller. Talos Principle took me like just over 20 hours because I was trying to 100% it. But even then, it's a massive game, and the main way to move around is running. There's like fast travel between major areas, but once you're in them, you're just like running around. It's really inefficient. But yes, Destiny.
I mean, to tie into Destiny a little bit, I've actually been considering going back and playing the original Halo games.
You get that Master Chief Collection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got it on Game Pass, so like the Bungie versions, not the 343 version.
I mean, to play the Bungie versions, you would need to get it on an Xbox. Get the actual original.
I've got the games in storage. I just don't have a working Xbox.
Yeah, that is the hard part. You're probably better off just playing the Master Chief Collection. Last I heard, they've got that to a pretty good place. Like when it first came out, it was a bit all over the shop.
Oh, the multiplayer was...
even some of the campaign stuff, especially co-op. It's like, well, that's the main way some people play these. Like, get the co-op in there. What are you doing?
Put it in.
Just almost choked on that. So, last week before a new season, they saw fit to drop a whole bunch of updates between the TWID, I still hate that name, and a Dev Insights post around the Fireteam Finder feature that they talked about, I think, in the lead up to Lightfall as a thing they were going to put out sometime this year. Let's talk about the Fireteam Finder thing first, because that's probably the shortest. Essentially what they're doing is a beta, because they've done some internal testing and like some of the underlying systems that they need for it, they've been kind of testing in the background in the live game. But it's not quite ready to ship is kind of the theme of the post. So they're going to put out a beta with like some specific dates of like when they're going to let you do open raid matchmaking and like a couple of other things. They basically just want people to get in there and try it and see if it works, give them feedback, etc. That's a beta. That's what that means. But the funniest part of this whole thing to me is that they are finally retiring the guided games beta. That thing still has a beta tag on it in the game that has been there since Destiny 2 launched, I believe, or not long after. And they basically said, like, hey, if you want to get that guided games emblem, like, now is the time to do it. I do not know a single person that has ever interacted with that system.
I did once ages ago, and then I did it, and then someone called me a slur, so I left.
Yeah, sick. I mean, one of the first things I heard about
That's my experience with guided games, was I whiffed a grenade, got called a slur because of it, and then left.
You know what? Probably good we're retiring that. Yeah, one of the first things I ever heard about it was that you wouldn't get any of the rewards, like from raids and like finishing encounters and stuff. You would basically just get a completion and that's it. And there's like, if you go to the clan info screen, there's like little boxes along the bottom. If you do like 5 of them a week as a clan, you fill the boxes. But like, as far as I know, you don't get anything for doing that. And it's such an arduous requirement to just like fill some checkboxes.
I haven't touched it since it dropped.
Yeah. Yeah, so...
I don't want to be told to go back to the kitchen.
Yeah, I think the thing I'm most interested about is how this plays out on PC. Because if you're on a console and you do a Fireteam matchup there, the consoles have their own built-in voice comm systems, right? Whereas on PC, most people I know would just use Discord separately. But Destiny does still have in-game voice chat, and there's crossplay. So I'm curious to see if like they surface some way for people to like point a group towards a Discord voice chat, or if they try to like push people towards the in-game voice chat. I've never used in-game voice chat on any system really. because if you're on a console, you just do like a PlayStation party chat, and that's like completely separate from the game, even though it ties it to your game activity. It's not actually, you're not launching it from inside the game itself, technically. It's weird.
Yeah, in the last, let's say 5 years, the only game I've experienced in-game voice chat being used is Warzone.
Yeah, the like passive, like spatial audio to know if someone's coming up behind you.
Yeah, but then also team chats, like you can like squad chat and stuff like that. But then also there's the kill cam too. You can hear what people are saying.
Yeah, and I think like between kill cam, voice comms, and that kind of like spatial audio, I think that's enough of a driving feature to get people to opt into the game voice chat system, because you want that immersion kind of stuff.
That's the only game where I felt like, one, it works well, and two, people do actually use it, like engage with it. It's the only game where I've gone in and actually turned it back on after turning it off.
Yeah.
So I don't want people hearing my voice.
Yeah. Whereas
then people actually really chill in game.
Yeah. Whereas with playing Destiny on PC, like I've got a bunch of like keyboard shortcuts set up to manage Discord voice calls without me having to like alt tab and click on a bunch of shit. I would probably have to work out how to do something like that with the Destiny keyboard shortcuts, like the actual game shortcuts. So I'm curious to see what they do there, because like I feel like it'd be an oversight for them to just ignore Discord as an option, especially on PC. I know that like at least on PlayStation there's some level of integration with Discord now, but it's not great.
It's still kind of fucky, yeah.
Whereas on PC it's basically the default. So that is probably the only question mark around it for me. Like, other than that, I've always thought the system was a good idea since they started talking about it, right? Like, even like our group, you know, we could probably get our raid group together, but it's a bit of a stretch lately, just with schedules and people doing other stuff and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, without like going and joining other Discord servers or other clans or like other big groups, it's like, I've got like a few hours free on a Saturday. I just want to run a raid. I might try this, you know?
Yeah, I want to give it a try just because like, and I've spoken about it in past episodes, I've made friends doing LFGs from like Hong Kong and America and the UK just through LFGs. So like, this could be good. This could help people make new in-game friends or IRL friends.
That's it.
Because as we learnt by Ghost, a lot of Destiny friendships extend into the IRL through these community meetups and stuff. So that could be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I'm excited. I am optimistic. My usual peanut brain being hopefully optimistic and wanting the best for it, knowing the community.
Yeah. Yeah. And look, I think, I mean, I've always thought Bungie are aware enough of their community to kind of design around some of those problems and not like force people to do certain things, but like make positive social behavior easier than being a shithead.
Oh, their reporting system's really good
too. Reporting,
like,
but also just like if you were to go into the fire team system and like, yeah, if you, I'm trying to think of how I was going to explain this. Like if the defaults are all like, you know, you want a chill time, you want open voice comms, blah, 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 like making default options closer to the social behavior you want people to carry out. That's the sort of stuff I'm thinking about. It's not necessarily like, what do you do when someone acts out? It's more, how do you subtly encourage people to do the right thing in the first place?
Yeah, and some of those screenshots seem to indicate that they are looking at that. Like one of the screenshots shows Kingsfall, and then they've named their character Telesto. It's like they want this to break. But then underneath there's teaching, looking to help. And then under that, it looks like they've got tags where it says kind gamers, lots of time, chill. On the side, it says like view listings. And some of these listings are saying stuff like first time, friendly, patient, experienced, meta loadouts only, stasis only, chatting using Discord.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah.
Discord shout out.
Teaching, looking to help, hello friends, fresh, clear, experience requested, looking for experts. So I think there is going to be ways that you can tag your listing or your request for assistance and just be like, this is the energy I want.
Yeah. I guess I just hope that...
Which I like.
Like if you're saying one of the options is chatting in Discord, hopefully that doesn't lead to people like trying to force people to join servers and shit. Like what I hope is people like set up a voice chat in a way that they can just invite people in temporarily without having to like join a whole server and all that over here.
So I recently just cleaned out my server list. I don't want any more.
Bro, I should do that. Mine's a mess. There's like a whole list of them I never even look at, but I get like on my phone it's like 680 unread messages. I'm never gonna look at those. Leave me alone. So yeah, I think they were talking about that coming out this season, right? Like
November 30th is when the beta starts, according to this.
So like the first week of the season.
Yeah, so like
bold.
Next week, 5 days.
Very
next
bold.
week.
Cool.
So it'll be raid stress tests are going to be November 30th from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. PST. The beta period will begin in December pending the stress test results. Mm-hmm. And they're targeting late January for a full release.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
You jump in and do some beta testing, report back.
I'll do a raid. What's up? Next week? I don't think I've got anything on.
It's so fun.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I can't do next week.
It's all right. That's what the Fireteam Finder is for. Right.
I'm going to be a good things.
Oh, true.
Maybe Friday night.
See how time zones line up with those schedules.
Yeah, true.
It's always the hard part. They put all these dates on it and it's like, fuck, that's like 3 a.m. on a Thursday. Can't do that.
That sounds fun, though.
Yes.
Give it a go.
Yes.
I want to make new Destiny friends.
Now onto something that has me legitimately mad. This week in Destiny, Solar Titans are getting fucking put into the ground. Especially people like me who run throwing hammer builds.
You're getting your back.
And like, hey, to be fair,
this update.
To be fair, I have been abusing that loadout. I have not changed it in at least a season.
Bungie said, "Solar Titans, open your mouth. We're about to spit in it."
The changes I can remember because they got me so acerbic about it. The like when you throw the hammer and you pick it up, it is no longer an instant refill. It is a 1.4 second refill time. And also they're removing the syntheseps, the like exotic arms that I use to make the damage crazy with the hammer. They're removing the extended lunge distance for melee hits, which is actually the like...
It's something you use a lot.
Well, this is the thing. That's like the sleeper hit of that build, because like you can throw the throwing hammer, sure, once you've got the like solar, is it roaring flames, whatever it's called. Like once you've got that up, an unpowered melee kill will also create a sunspot and an orb of power. And like it tracks to enemies. You can like get a good distance. You can clock them. Like
pick up your hammer.
Things like dregs and scions, you'll basically one-shot them with the unpowered melee once you've got that spun up. And one of the ways I use this the most is if I'm like falling or flying through the air, is to cancel that momentum by tracking to an enemy with the extended lunge distance. So I'll get the kill, land, and then keep moving. So I'm going to have to rethink that build or change to something as my main. I know that there are mods you can get that like reduce that melee recharge cooldown a whole bunch. It's like melee kickstart and there's all sorts of things like that.
They also said like, oh, if you do X with artifact.
What?
Not artifact, fucking in the super menu.
Yeah. Oh,
the
like
little thingies that you plug in. Aspects, that's it. You can kind of tweak it back, but it's not
the other one that
all the way back.
The other one that is like kind of annoying is part of the like risk versus reward of that build is to rush into a bunch of enemies and then just kind of go ham, let the restoration like keep you alive, but you're still like at risk of getting stomped to death, which does happen. They're basically like nerfing a little bit the amount of restorative effect you get. They're reducing the like surrounded perk and how effective that is. I'm kind of pissed off about it. I understand why they're making this change because a lot of people run this build and it's very effective in PvE.
I think after it dropped, you like messaged it like rip my entire build. And I was just like, wow, get actually fucked, dude. Like, this is hard.
Yeah.
This is harsh.
Pretty brutal. Because I really enjoy that build. It's a lot of fun. But there, like I said, there is still risk associated with it. It's not just turn the brain off, I'm OP now. It's like if I'm rushing into a boss's feet, I'm doing that knowing that I might get stomped and die. And it happens. Raid bosses, like I'm not immune to anything. Because I think there was one of the changes was specifically mentioned like about standing next to feet of enemies and making that actually less viable. But I'm like, well, what's the point then? Like, am I just supposed to throw the hammer and then just like use a gun? Like, it's not what this build is for, my guy. Come on.
Yeah, they're changing Well of Radiance and Ward of Dawn as well.
Wasn't that like they're making it last longer? I can't remember the numbers.
The cooldown has been extended.
Oh, okay.
So it takes longer to get it up.
Yeah, but it's
it's
still pretty easy to get that one up again if you build right.
It's not as harsh as what the Titans have to deal with, but like
Yep.
I started reading through that and they started to talk about Devour and I was like, if they fuck my Many Suns build, I'm going to scream.
See, I don't think they will because like that build requires so much busy work from you that there's no way that's going to get like meta defining.
It's all worth it for my beautiful boys.
Yes.
I will do anything for my sons.
Yes. Yeah, no, I don't think that one's
they were
really
like, oh, we're changing the way Devour works. And I was like, oh, Devour is a key component in how I like have that build like fucked up.
Yeah.
But Titans are copping it.
Yeah. Look, I'm just going to do what I always do when these sort of changes affect my shit. I'm going to see.
We adapt.
But yeah, but I'm going to see, I'm just going to run the same loadout week 1 or day 1, day 2, whatever. See how it feels without changing anything. See what I can tweak. See if that build can still work for me in the way I like to play. See what I need to change about how I play to make it work. Like there's some push and pull there. Even with a 1.4 second cooldown, like because of the way I'm using unpowered melees most of the time, it's probably fine. Yeah. You know, like I mainly will do a bunch of the throwing hammers really quick to get Roaring Flames up to ×3 just to get the most damage out of it. And then it's just unpowered melees because I'm right up in everything's face. The throwing hammers I'll save for like things with more health or that are chunkier, you know?
It might be one of those situations where it sounds really aggressive, but then when you get into the game and you make a few tweaks, it might not feel as aggressive as we think it might be.
I also feel like this is targeted more towards
optimistic.
Yeah. I feel like this is targeted more towards people who like legitimately abuse the archetype and the build and are like almost just melting bosses solo with the combination of weird builds and mods and shit.
I was going to say I've definitely played with Blueberry Titans, the Betrayal, sorry, who just fucking melt primevals.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh, okay. You've got the hammer.
Don't get me wrong.
You got Hemmies for the demis.
I've been that guy. Like, I will take tractor cannon and throwing hammers into dungeon bosses any day of the week. But I don't do that all the time. But I also haven't switched my build in a long time.
Us running those Vex strikes on Neomuna and me just planting div and you being like, hammer.
Yeah, 300,000 damage. Thank you.
You can have 3 Child of the Old Gods, a div, and hammers.
I think the best one that I've ever done, and this one is like fairly repeatable for me, it's the what is the wet dungeon called?
The wet one.
The one from last season.
Lake of Shadows?
No, the dungeon. The one with Oryx's corpse at the end of it.
Oh, yeah. That one. The wet one.
Yeah. Anyway.
The fucking Decepticon.
Yeah.
Deep sea dump.
I think it's like the second encounter where like you're going under the water to find the runes, you're coming back up and there's wizards and then there's like the big knight with the axe. Anyway, that one, like, I can, because of the throwing hammer build, I can basically solo...
Ghost of the Deep.
That's the one. I can basically solo all of the wizards up top because the throwing hammer will just one or two shot them from memory. And then when you get into the damage phase, like, you're right up in the face of that thing. So I'll just, like, tractor cannon. Everybody's benefiting from that. And then I'll throw, like, 5 throwing hammers. And by then it's time to re-up on the tractor cannon. And that means we can basically two-phase it without really trying too hard. That's fun for me. I like that. But I could like immediately thinking of how I could switch that up with the cooldown timer is like tractor cannon, 1 throwing hammer, switch to a shotgun with 1-2 punch, hit that, throwing hammer again, and like do a bit more alternating that way. So there's some thoughts brewing, but I need to see how it feels next week.
Yeah, you need to get hands on.
Yeah. It's just, man, I was reading that post and I saw like, I was like, please don't mention throwing hammers, because I was like reading through it, I was like seeing some threads emerging in the way they were writing, and I was like, fuck.
And then it's like, bonk hammer.
Yeah.
And you're like, no.
Dude, as soon as I saw that like header that specifically said the phrase bonk hammer, I was like, fuck.
Bonk hammer and Banner of War. No.
Banner of War, fine. Like, that's been broken since it came out.
Fucking Kyle some drywall over Destiny 2 changes.
I would, but these walls are double brick. I cannot afford that. Surgery on my arm.
Double bricked up?
No, I would break my wrist if I tried to Kyle this drywall.
You telling me your house is double bricked up on a Thursday?
On every day. It's double bricked. Fuck. So yeah.
We'll stop sexualizing your house now.
No. I don't know why. I was going to say, please fuck my house. I don't know what that means. I don't like it. I don't love it.
Please fuck my house. Please fuck my house.
Buy my bed. Ain't nothing bad ever happened on this bed.
Ain't nothing bad ever happened to this bed. Fucking
stop spreading
banana
rumors.
bread, dude. Banana bread at work, dude. They started talking about stasis too, which is interesting.
Like, I'll be honest, I didn't read most of the post after the throwing hammer section. I was like, I'll figure this out when I play another build, I guess.
Are you crying? No, someone's cutting onions.
Let me scroll down to when they post all the cool art.
I'm gonna look at the art.
Yeah, it seemed like they're doing like a decent bit of overhauling of stasis.
They're almost entirely changing the fragment suite.
Wow.
So stuff like Whisper of Hedrons used to have a -10 strength penalty. They're removing that.
Okay.
Whisper of Impetus now provides a +10 resilience. Whisper of Shards, also known as Living in Caboolture, +10 resilience.
Whisper of Shards, aka the idea of meth.
The scent of meth. Whisper of Hunger is now changed from -10 mobility to it's changing from -10 mobility and -10 intellect to -20 strength. Whisper of Bonds,
Weird.
they removed the -10 discipline penalty.
Do they go into like why these specific numbers are changing? Because I can't see any rhyme or reason to this.
Because apparently when they added Strand as a 5th damage type in Lightfall, and the overall power bar of the sandbox had shifted significantly, resulting in stasis feeling like it's being left behind. One of the least used subclasses.
Yeah. I mean, anecdotally, I think that's true.
They're saying that they need to give it a bigger shot in the arm. So starting Season of the Wish and then continuing through to the final shape, quality of life changes. So just reevaluating, tuning, and then also looking at how they can improve reliability in combat. And then, of course, like hunters are making changes targeted at improving the reliability of Withering Blade and Winter's Shroud. So stuff like increased projectile speed, maximum projectile lifetimes, maximum bounce count from 2 to 3, increased tracking. For Titans, Shiver Strike is now slowing players on hit. Behavior that was previously removed in a hotfix. Fixed an issue where Shiver Strike would not function with the melee kickstart armor mod. So now you can kickstart it.
Sure.
Glacial Quake is now freezing nearby players on cast. Previously removed, now re-added. On cast freeze impulse size versus players has been reduced from 8 meters to 6 meters.
The idea of like previously removed, now added sounds like, remember when Stasis first came out and that shit was busted, especially in the Crucible.
Broke.
It sounds like they're like, oh no, this makes sense now if we put this back in how it was.
I think with Strand and then the new updates to the 3 light classes, I think it's not as much as a power imbalance now, so they feel safe re-adding it. Frost Pulse, that's getting an update as well. Just in terms of, they'd noticed for the Titan class that a lot of stuff was inconsistently hitting.
Sure.
So freezing wasn't working how it was meant to, and it seems like they did a lot of fixes there. So there is a lot actually being improved for the Titans. Warlocks, we're not really getting a lot. Frost Pulse, increased consistency. That's fine. Warlock stasis was kind of fucked.
It always has been.
You're telling me I can free some people and then pop them? Okay. And I get to drift around like a whittle balloon? Okay. That's all I care about.
Yeah.
Better consistency with the Frost Pulse because hunters could move out of it and it was really annoying.
Stupid hunters.
Reworking on the latency with that as well. Freeze detonation size versus PvE combatants increased from 8 meters to 8.5 meters. Then Penumbral Blast is getting a blast radius, detonation size, blast radius 1.52. Glacier Grenades now are being bumped down from 152 to 121 cooldown seconds. Duskfield Grenades and Cold Snaps and Bleak Watchers have also been updated. What do any of
these numbers mean?
I don't know. As long as it just feels better.
Yeah.
Because Stasis used to be my fave. Remember how consistently I used Stasis for a good 6-month period there? And now I barely touch it.
Yeah. And I think like I was talking about with the solar changes, is like I can read some of these numbers and kind of think ahead to how that's going to play out. But a lot of this, it's like you're talking about a fucking 10% change to a number somewhere. I might not even notice that. As
someone who played Stasis Warlock quite a lot, I can kind of visualize and feel out in my head how that's going to feel with the change, being so intimately aware of fragments and then also the abilities and how they all feed into each other, plus exotics. I can kind of feel out and imagine how that's going to feel. But we'll see. We'll see.
Next week, even.
Yeah. And then there's a bunch of exotic stuff too, which is fun.
Yeah.
As long as none of them include... Yeah. My exotics are safe. I don't care.
One of us had to take the hit. Fucking hell. All my favorite toys are getting broken.
They fucked the stag for me a year ago. That's a
Yeah,
bad
true.
sentence. And I stopped using the stag, and then they dunked on controverse holds for a while there too. So it is what it is.
Yeah, you just got to do the weird build that is powerful, but no one even knows about it. Just sneak under the radar.
My fucked up old gods build.
Yeah, do that. Just leaving landmines everywhere. It's very fun.
It looks like there's a lot of like exotic tweaking, and then armor mod tweaks that got me a little bit nervous with my solar build. Like
yeah, we'll see. I think there was also like a fair amount of like the seasonal artifact mods for next season. Like seems to have a bunch of solar related stuff, but also specifically radiant, which you can get through various solar effects. So that'll be interesting, because that's one of my favorite things about my solar build is the throwing hammer hit will then make all your weapons will make you radiant, but also make a bunch of your weapons do anti-barrier, because that's what radiant applies. And radiant is just a 2 times damage multiplier.
Yeah, that's the loop I've got going with one of my solar builds.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting with these new
it's a bunch of stuff that like
artifact mods.
When you're radiant, something else happens, and a lot of it's like do more damage essentially, and I'm here for that. I will say that much.
When radiant hit harder.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, hit harder at the strings of your martyr, etc. Yes. So yeah, if you want to read a bunch of numbers and get mad or happy or excited or scared about the state of the Destiny sandbox, you can go read that This Week in Destiny post yourself. But also don't read too much into it. Just play the game next week and see how it feels. Chances are you won't notice any difference. And if you do, adapt. Figure it out. Don't complain. It's just a video game.
And also, if you're not playing but you want some Destiny stuff, they've updated their cutscene archive.
Oh, that's just like a YouTube channel, right?
Yeah, but it's like all of the cutscenes for the season stitched together, so you could probably realistically just sit through that playlist and get the story.
Yeah. That's pretty good. I think that's largely it, right, for this kind of farewell to Season of the Witch. I will say it was a good season. I liked the story. I liked the activities. I think the loop was pretty good. Didn't feel like arduous like some of the seasons have. It was kind of interesting enough to pull you forward, but not like, oh, this is going to take me an hour to get through one of these fucking things. It was like, oh, you could do it in 20 minutes, or you could hang out. I don't know. The tarot card system was pretty neat.
I like the tarot card system. I want to buy the tarot cards.
I mean, I like how the tarot cards were then like tied into the evolving mystery throughout the season, with the Embaro engine and aspects of those activities kind of changing depending what you'd unlocked and all that sort of stuff. That was fun.
Yeah. I like this season. I like this season's story.
I like this season for what they gave Eris Morn.
Yeah.
They gave her an actual
something to do.
Well, an actual like meaningful journey, a bit of agency, a bit of self-determination, and a bit of like actual power and strength that I don't think we've really seen from her in a long time.
Yeah.
She's always been kind of in the background doing some weird ritual magic when they allow her, but this was her going like, no, you've kind of handed me the reins here. How about you fucking back off?
Yeah.
Let me do my shit.
And Ikora being like, let her do what she do.
But also, I'm freaking out.
Like, I'm also scared.
Yeah, like
kind of impressed.
The back third of that story was her being like, I know I said she could do this, but like, I'm not sure I should have.
I take that back.
Yeah. Can I put the lid back on the bottle? No. Eris Morn be out here. Witching
and the fact that we all got excited over Savathun coming back, and then Eris just fucking ganks her instantly.
So good.
She's back for like 30 seconds.
If that
Eris
cutscene
is
was
like,
short.
Eris, surprise, motherfucker.
Yeah. That's like the worst form of a necromancer, is that they keep bringing you back so that they can keep killing you.
Eris just keeps doing that to Savathun.
Yeah.
Every time she needs a little bit of a kickstart in the morning instead of a monster, she...
Done.
Thank you.
I think my favorite like cursed Baldur's Gate build that I've seen is someone basically playing as a necromancer, but their inventory is full of dead bodies of really powerful enemies they've slain. So they could just bring them back, have them fight for them, and then kill them again. It's real dark.
Amazing. Love that.
The other one is what's commonly called a barrel mancer, where you carry around the like explosive elemental barrels in your inventory, and then you just fucking throw them at people. It's very good.
That sounds like some fuck shit I would do.
Dude, Baldur's Gate's crazy.
I need to get back into it. I've kind of neglected it the last few weeks.
It's pretty easy to drop in and out of that game. You just kind of pick it up, roll some dice. It's fine. I would like to end this episode with a hot take, if I may be so bold. I tried to watch a particular Destiny creator that you and I have watched before earlier today. Some content about like, you know, the upcoming season and wishes and kind of how they can get manipulated and how that shows up in the lore books and things like that and the way it's represented.
Well, it's almost like the Ahamkara's ultimatum is to just warp. Like we said last episode, it's the monkey's paw.
Exactly. So here's my hot take. If you're out here still making money and a living off videos and any kind of content where you're talking about a video game that you do not make, you don't get to comment on the state of the studio. And like seriously, at the start and end of this video, every statement was couched in language of like, despite all the issues happening at Bungie, I'm really looking forward to the season. It's like, you didn't need to say that. You could have just said, this season looks exciting. Like, why are you commenting on this shit every chance you get? Just stop.
Yeah. And also, like, we are still very much dealing with content that the people who were let go were involved in.
Yeah, that'll take months before we're, like, out of that. Same thing that happened when
I mean,
Lance Reddick
even
passed,
when we play the final shape, it's content that these people who were let go worked on. And a lot of them have said, no, keep playing the game because it's stuff we made that we're proud of.
Yeah.
It's so unnecessary just to like keep being like, so also, that thing that happened.
Also just for like the idea of like, you know, the idea of the body of your like produced content, like having a legacy past when it first came out, right? Like somebody's watching this in a year or two from now, they're like, well, I didn't know the studio had problems. I just got into the game. Like, why even bring that into the conversation? You're not talking about the studio or the production of a video game. You're talking about theories based on the lore from the game. The shit doesn't matter.
Like you're not doing a history of Bungie. You're doing so here's the Ahamkara. The Ahamkara didn't make people redundant. Why are you bringing this up?
Pete Parsons made a wish wrong.
Oh no. That's the monkey paw of the Sony deal.
Yes. That's my hot take, is basically shut up. Like, either make content or don't. Like, you don't get to have it both ways.
Yeah.
Like,
also, if you need to talk about it, make it relevant.
Yeah, or
like don't,
or do it somewhere else. Like, create a separate thing that is like, I want to talk about why this bothers me. Sure, go off, do that, have it be focused, have a point. Don't just keep dropping it every fucking chance you get. It's just sad.
It does feel kind of weird just to be like, well, that sucked. Anyway, the Ahamkara.
That is basically the tone of this fucking video. I almost closed it 3 minutes in, and I was like, no, but I kind of want to see where this goes. But I had to like wade through some bullshit of like, oh yeah, this, like the fucking opening sentence was talking about the issues Bungie's had lately and like narrative team didn't really hit. It's like, bro, shut up. Who are you? You're just a guy.
Oops. And also, like, as like, we're not big creators by any means, but it's also really not that hard to be like, it's not relevant to talk about right now, so we're not going to. Like, we took a whole week off because it felt wrong to be like, let's make money. Well, not make money in our case, but let's make content around this thing. It doesn't feel genuine to us or a lot of people to be like, oh, let's profit off this thing by talking about it.
Also, I think, like, you know, not to toot our own horn too much, we kind of exercised a bit of, like, responsible restraint of, like, this news was maybe a day or two old at the time we said, let's not record this week. Purely so
we didn't know the facts.
Yeah, purely that we could, like, kind of let the dust settle and let some of the information actually come to light that might inform that conversation. Right?
But also give space for the people affected.
Yes.
That's so weird to me. Just like, so here's the Ahamkara law. By the way, those redundancies, huh?
Yeah. It wasn't like quite that on the nose, but it was basically just like, it's for some reason, it's the same thing we saw with Lightfall. It's like people will take any opportunity to shit on that story and to shit on the narrative team. It's like, why are we still banging this drum? Like, they know. They've admitted as much that, like, it didn't hit the way they wanted it to. But you've also got to, like, shut up about it eventually. Like, you can't keep beating this dead horse.
Yeah, and it also, even though they're made redundant, there are a lot of people on Twitter who were made redundant who are like, I still play Destiny.
Yeah.
With my friends. I still consume Destiny content. I love Destiny.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine tuning into a video just to see how the community feel about the big, like, Ahamkara egg reveal.
Yeah.
Some dudes just like, so those redundancies, huh?
Yeah. That is
you just feel like, Jesus fucking Christ, I just want to see how the community feels about the egg.
That was kind of the thought that I was left with at the end of the video. Is like, this is potentially one of the biggest names in, you know, Destiny related content production. And I'm just like, you kind of have a responsibility at a certain point to, like, not keep that noise going. Like, especially because, like, you have to know that people at the studio watch that stuff. Because it's, you know, once you get past all that and into the actual content and the meat of it, like, it's actually interesting. It's well researched, sure. But if you work at that studio, you've got to wade through this like armchair game dev bullshit of, like, just did my head in.
It's weird.
Just don't.
It's super weird.
Just don't.
It's so weird just to randomly bring it up.
Stay in your lane, basically, is the message.
Trying to act like you care, but it's like, if you care,
No, I don't think there was an air of acting like you care at all. It's like trying to play both sides of, like, hey, I'm excited for the next season, but also this shit was bad, right? It's like, why did you do that? That was a weird choice.
Especially when they've already made a video specifically covering the redundancies.
Yeah.
Few videos specifically covering the redundancies. Yeah. You've already said your piece, dude.
Yeah, we are at the point now that we need to let them, I don't know, like, show us.
Breathe.
Well, also, like, just show us how they're going to work moving forward. Like, we've known 2 or 3 different ways of Bungie interacting with the community and developing the game over the years. That's changed pretty drastically. Maybe now we just need to wait and see what it looks like, right? Like, yeah. Anyway, that's my hot take. People need to shut up.
There's a time and a place for everything.
Yeah, it's time for us to shut up and get out of here. So if you, well, maybe don't shut up in our comments section. Leave something in there. Give us your hot take about Destiny, content creators, state of media. I don't know. Whatever floats your boat. Let's have a chat. Like this video and all of our previous ones, please. I would appreciate all the thumbs ups. These ones. And then subscribe. I don't know. Maybe we'll do more hot takes. I don't want to, like, turn this into, like, a negative or hot take based kind of show.
No.
But this one was particularly, like, irritating to me because it's been happening since this news happened and it's still being pushed. I'm just sick of it. I like to agitate a little bit for some positive change. And this is what that looks like.
Yeah. Yeah. It's criticism.
Yeah. But until next season, season of the wish. Egg.
Season of the egg.
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 Egg. I am only calling it season of the egg from now on.
But what if they eventually do a season of the egg? Then what?
2 seasons of the egg. Oh boy.
Egg.
Love egg. Egg. Love egg.
Egg. Egg.
Egg.
Egg.
Love egg.
Egg.